investors, and they're here to decide if it's worth partnering today. The first person to pitch coming up. Sonia.
And Dragons, I'm coming to you today as a marriage counsellor. Agriculture and climate have been in a long but unhappy marriage with each other. So these are the problems. But at the same time, they're massive opportunities. First of all, we have 500 million scientists who are farmers doing experiments on their farms every single day. And they're now connected with each other and with us, with the global community. So what I'd like to pitch to you is something that joins together all of that data and produces products for farmers and for supply chains. And that's where I see you as the partners who are going to make a difference.
In principle, be very interested in partnering with you in this. I have a question though, the big data revolution. Everybody talks about big data, everybody feels we can make lots and lots of money of it, nobody knows how to do it. And so my question is, what is the time scale in terms of what do you expect as the ramp up? How many farmers will you reach? In which areas will you start? Where are you going to measure the demand so that you can have an adequate rollout? And what is your exit strategy?
The question is, will I invest? The answer is no. And the reason I want to invest is because I don't see what you're doing different from some of the other people. And the other thing is, you're missing half of the equation. It's great to give people information about climate, but if the fundamental science behind what happens on the ground is not changing with you, then you're just giving people stuff that makes no difference. In the third world, the most critical thing is nutrition. So how are you going to up nutrition? I don't see a good risk-reward ratio of this.
What can you expect from us? One is insights and analysis of cross-sectoral policy processes from agriculture, health, and social development. The second is help in de-risking to get at the base of the pyramid markets through piloting and evaluation of interventions with farmer and trader groups and social enterprises. And the third is evidence and evaluation of nutrition and health impacts that will be convincing to public health and other people you want to reach. Now, what kind of partnership are we looking for? Well, initially we're expecting kind of seed funding and in-kind contributions from you. And then as we agree projects, we would go together and plan them and to look for the funding for them. To go to scale, we can't do this without the private sector, and we're looking for the right mix of kind of small and medium enterprises in country with the know-how of multinational corporations. Thank you.
I think you need to re-examine your markets because you're making some huge assumptions which are totally unfounded, like the one in Nigeria, but also poor markets are where the private sector works. My colleague from Unilever can explain that the place where they have double-digit growth is Bangladesh, not Europe. So working alongside them in those markets, that is where I could see added value. But I doubt whether they are waiting for cross-sectoral policy instruments.
So working with the Waterland Ecosystems Programme offers real returns to your business. It generates and harnesses rigorous research and the partnerships, the vibrant partnerships that we have with many organisations locally, internationally, and in the region. So we can help communities and companies into a more sustainable future with their water source, and we look forward to working with you on that. Thank you.
I would really support the program, and I think if there's anything I'm personally proud of what Unilever is doing as part of the Unilever Sustainable Living Plan is exactly this. So generally I do support the whole thinking. What is not clear to me is what you're doing and what you're expecting.
I think you mentioned it yourself, you're working within your factories. I think that's where we now need to take a different approach and go beyond that, to see how that can be leveraged to work within the communities and other areas. Because frankly, what you're doing in your factories is not going to address some of the bigger issues which are happening outside of your control in those areas. So that's something that we can add by bringing in the additional partnerships and the others into this.
So, Jeremy, I think your examples are good. When you talk about the dairy thing in India, it becomes clear to me. But in terms of your pitch, and that actually is for all three of you, I get totally lost. And I think you ask this wrong question. You shouldn't ask what is the role of the private sector for our program. You should ask yourself, what is the value that I bring to the market, to the private sector? And you can only add value by being smart and by being precise in your value add.
If I look at what you're asking for, you should be, to me, I think a bit more specific. I mean, sustainability, you mentioned it yourself, is about people, profit and planet. Yes, it's for the benefit of the people, so there's a very generic ethical thing which we need to work on in closing these balances, but it's also about profit. So it's also about challenging those companies who can make you realize your plans on the ground in more detail. So you need to be more specific in what are the sectors and the industries you need to join your partnership, rather than the generic question of we need to solve this problem. Because I think we all share that feeling. What do you want me to do?